3 video. So today we're going to be talking about how to improve your aim, so stick around for that. Alright, one of the biggest tips I can give to improve your aim is to use guns how they're supposed to be used. You know what I mean? Like say the Kuda. So we're going to go through some guns. We're going to go through them and see what they're best used at. Like the Kuda is probably close to medium long range because it has that longer range for an SMG. It has a nice fire rate. It's got good accuracy. So I would use it for close to medium ranges, maybe even longer ranges if you have an optic. Next is the VMP. It's got nice damage, but not as much range as the Kuda, and its fire rate is a lot faster. So that means it would be great for up close and personal cases where you would need to kill an enemy really quick, where they're up close, where you can lock onto them easy and just put them down. The Weevil, very, very low damage. The Weevil used to be poopy. It has less range than the VMP, but it has more fire rate and more accuracy. So I would say the Weevil now is good for probably closer engagements, but can also be used for medium like engagements, like medium, probably close to medium range is the best for the Weevil, because I'm pretty sure they gave it a buff. They extended its 4-shot kill range, so it should be a lot better now. All right, next is the Vesper. The Vesper used to be probably the best SMG in game, but since they nerfed it, it's honestly they just nerfed its accuracy to like basically absolutely nothing. This thing, I could barely use it anymore. I used to love this. Used to be my favorite gun. It might still be like my top used gun. No, it's VMP now, but it used to be the Vesper because I just liked it so much. I used it all the time. This thing I wouldn't recommend using unless you're gonna be like seriously up close engagements, or hardcore is probably the best place I would do, because it has an amazing fire rate, but it's just not good for staying on target at all. Alright, the next one is the Pharaoh, which has like pretty average range. It has nice amount of damage. You can easily, it's a 4-round burst, auto burst, so you could easily one burst someone up close. It has a nice fire rate. It really competes with the other SMGs, even though it's auto burst. It's just really nice once you get used to it. I would recommend putting an optic on it because I do not like the iron sights that much on it. Alright. The Razorback. It probably has, this is probably meant for the longest range. This probably has the longest range on a submachine gun that you want. It has the most accuracy, the longest range. It doesn't have as much of damage, but it has been buffed a little bit, so it is back up there with the other submachine guns. It is really good. I would try it out. The optical, it all depends on who you are, basically, because some people like it, some people don't. It all depends on who you are. Alright, now on to assault rifles. First we have the KN-44, which it's basically the best when you just start off this game. It's probably the best for that. When you start off, it has good damage, good range, amazing fire rate, and not the best accuracy, but it is honestly one of the best starter guns ever, because it's just really good stock, basically. Like, once you hop right in the game, it's amazing. The next up is the XR2, one of my personal favorites. It's starting to be used in MLG now and stuff like that, competitive gaming, just because it's a 3-round burst, auto burst assault rifle, and it could basically one burst someone. It's really good for long range since it's the auto burst. It has really good damage. It has really good fire rate. All right, next up is the HVK-30. The HVK-30 doesn't have that much range or damage. So the best thing, it has a lot of fire rate, so the best thing to do is to take it up close. It's basically like the Razorback or the Kuda, basically. Take it up close and you should be able to win some gunfights with it. The ICR doesn't have very good damage. It has good accuracy, good fire rate, good range, but not good damage. So what I would do is try to like use it as a flank weapon. Try not to rush people with it too much. Try not to get up close and personal with them, because you probably won't win because they have a more damaged gun than you. You know what I mean? Next is the Man of War. This is the beast of the assault rifles. This is honestly it's probably my favorite assault rifle is the Man of War. It's probably my most used assault rifle. It's got high damage, low recoil, you know what I mean? It's got a lot of accuracy. It's got a lot of range. And it's just, I don't know, it's just really strong, you know what I mean? It could put enemies down in a few shots and then you move on. It could take out a crowd of people. Alright, next up is the Shiva. I'm alright with the Shiva. It has amazing damage. It's a 2-shot kill unless you're very far away from an enemy or you shoot through something to hit them. It has really far range, so you can put on like a Varix scope on there or a thermal, and you'll be able to shoot very, very far with it. It doesn't have very fast fire rate, unfortunately. It's really slow because it is a 2-shot kill, so they can't just make it fast and heavy trigger figure like the FAL. The FAL was OP in Black Ops 2. And its accuracy is actually really good for what it is. It's actually an amazing assault rifle once you get to use it. Alright, and the last one is the M8A7, which is honestly like... this is what the pros use, basically. It's got nice damage. You can one-burst someone. It's got really good range, really good accuracy. I'm pretty sure it's got the highest range. Yeah, it's got the highest range in all assault rifles, so it could shoot the farthest, get the most damage. It's got decent fire rate, and it's got amazing accuracy. This is honestly probably one of the best guns, assault rifles in games. It's meant for really long range. I wouldn't take it out close. I wouldn't rush with this gun because you're going to lose against VMPs and stuff. Unless you get a lucky burst, you're going to lose. Alright, next up is shotguns. So, the KRM-262. It's a 1-shot kill against enemies in close quarters, but if you're not super close to someone, you're going to have to put 2 shots into them. So it is very difficult to use. If you're in core, I would take it to hardcore. If you're trying to get your 100 to 1 shots done, I would just take it to hardcore. It's a lot easier. Just take it to hardcore, hit fire everybody with it. And yeah. Next up is the Brecci. This is probably one of the most annoying shotguns in the game. Just because it's really, I think it's overpowered because it can literally just, like, 2-shot you. It's a reliable 2-shot kill. But if you throw on a long barrel, rapid fire, and an extended mag or something like that, you're done, like, instantly. They literally just rush with this gun, and you're just done. You have no chance, even with, like, a VMP or something else that up close like that. Next up is the Haymaker 12. It's another pretty annoying gun to get, like, run into because it takes you out in a few shots and you're done. I don't like using it that much. I do have to get a diamond still for my Dark Matter challenges. I'm not really going to like it. If I were you, I would literally take this gun to hardcore. And I would just try throw a long barrel and rapid fire and fast mags on it or something like that. I would just hit fire the Brecci and the Haymaker. Those, I would hit fire in hardcore for their, like, 1-shots and headshots. Well, yeah, the Brecci and the Haymaker, you have to get headshots. I would hit fire them in hardcore to get the headshots. Another tip is not to use a laser sight on these shotguns while you're using them. It makes the range smaller, and when you're in hardcore and you're just trying to get someone's head in that little range, don't use laser sight because it'll kill them either way. You're not going to hit marker them with, like, the corner of it. You know what I mean? Don't use laser sight because it'll just make your thing go down. Alright, last but not least is the Argus. The Argus is my favorite shotgun in this game. It's really fun. I've went off before, like on Nuketown and stuff. I was one of those annoying people who would just run around in Nuketown with an Argus one-shotting people, being annoying. And I don't know why they keep buffing this shotgun. This shotgun is, like, amazing, you know what I mean? It can one-shot someone at any range that it can shoot, basically, if you have, like, long barrel on it, I think. It has really good range, actually. If you put rapid fire on it, it has really fast shooting. You can literally, like, you can miss once and then shoot them again before they can kill you, you know what I mean? It's really OP. And its accuracy is pretty good. You have to get used to the gun before you can actually just run around and start one-shotting people like crazy. It takes a lot to get used to. It's not very, like, easy to use. Alright, next up is LMGs. First, we got the BRM, which is the gun, honestly, like, I would try and stay back a little bit with. It has really high damage and range, but not that high a fire rate, so I would try to stay back a little bit and just try and sneak around an enemy, something like that. Along with the Dingo has a much faster damage, or it has less damage and range, but it has a lot more fire rate, so that means it'll kill people a lot quicker. So that means I would rush a little bit more with it. I would use it a little bit, like, rushier. And now, up next is the Gorgon. So the Gorgon, I would just... I don't know. I don't like the Gorgon at all. It's a 2-shot kill with a very slow fire rate. It's got an incredibly slow fire rate. It feels like boring, basically. But once you can get rapid fire in there, I used to think, when I first started, I used to think the Gorgon was going to be beastly, dude. I thought it was going to be awesome, because it's a 2-shot kill heavy machine gun, you know what I mean? It's an LMG. And I was just like, this gun's going to be intense. It's going to be insane. You're just going to be able to take out enemies like crowds. It's not that good, actually, because it's just so slow. People can kill you, like, with an AR or something at the same distance before you can, like, continue firing. Alright, up next is the 48 Dredge, which is probably my favorite LMG, just because it's got that 6-round burst, and it easily one-burst people. Like, without a doubt, it'll one-burst someone, like, basically at any range. It's got really average stats, but I just really like it because it can one-burst someone at, like, basically any range. You can kill someone, it's quick, basically. You can run, like, stock on it and just literally just run around and destroy people with it. Alright, next up is the snipers, the Draken. I would definitely use this in hardcore if you're trying to get it diamond, because you need to get the one-shot kills with it, and it's only a one-shot to the head. Otherwise, you're gonna have to shoot him twice. So I would take it hardcore, and I would one-shot people there. Next up is the Locust. The Locust is really fun to use. It's probably my favorite sniper. I would use this in normal core because I would just aim for the chest to get that one-shot kill. I know you're trying to get that one-shot, one kill, and then all that stuff. Just take it to core, get used to it, use it, and then you'll be done. The PO6, probably my, I don't know. Draken's probably my least favorite sniper, but the PO6 I don't like that much. I know Sprat is like a god with it. He's amazing with the PO6. He's good. But I don't know. I don't think it's that good. I just don't have the timing down or anything like that, so I'm not good with it. If you are good with it, that's great. I would use it in core or hardcore, whatever you feel. Just try to camp a little bit with it because it's not very fast. Alright, next up is the SVG. A lot of snipers like the SVG just because it's so powerful. It's really slow at shooting, but it's really powerful. It can basically, it's one-shot kill above the hip. So basically you can kill him anywhere on the body, almost. You know what I mean? It's got amazing accuracy, range, and damage. It's got, like, it doesn't have higher damage than the PO6, but that's because the PO6 has 3 bullets. Alright. Moving on to pistols. The MR6 is the strongest damage in class for a pistol. This is probably my favorite pistol just because I can shoot fast. If you can't shoot fast, like, if you have to get these done and you can't shoot that fast, like, or if you have to use it, you don't have to use it, you want to use a pistol or something for a class, and you can't shoot fast, I would use the RK5 just because it's, like, the second best. I love the MR6 because I could just trigger finger the crap out of it. I could just unload the clip in a few seconds, and it's really awesome. Next up is the RK5. The RK5 has, like, it has less damage than the MR6, and less range, but it has a lot higher fire rate, so that's the only reason I like the MR6 is because I can make that fire rate go up because I can trigger finger it. So this thing is basically just worse than the MR6. But if you can't trigger finger, if you can't shoot really fast with the MR6, like insanely fast, then just use the RK5. It'd be a better option for you. Up next is the LK9, which is a full auto machine pistol, which has less damage, but more range than the RK5. It has a lot more fire rate than the RK5 and less accuracy. I don't really like the LK9 just because it's really hard to aim with it. It doesn't have very good accuracy and stuff like that. I just don't like it. Alright, now we're going to be talking about some optics. So the first optic is the reflex sight, which is it's a red dot sight basically. It's really good. It's basically great if you're new and you don't like the iron sights on a gun. Just throw this on and it'll just be a red dot right there. And it just really helps out if you just don't like the sights of the gun right away. And then up next is the recon, which I would only put on like an LMG maybe or a sniper. I'd never really use the recon just because I don't really want to. I don't like it. I have no use for it. It increases the range, but that's it. The Varix 3, it's basically the same thing as the recon, except it can zoom in ×3, or you can make it ×1. It's really nice. I don't really use it, but I've tried it on snipers before, and it's really nice because I tried to do the long shots glitch. Up next is the Boa 3 sight, which illuminates red. It basically colors up the outside red in a frame when an enemy is in there, and blue if a friendly is in there. And it just makes them easier to point out, makes them easier to find, stuff like that. Up next is the thermal sight. So for the thermal sight, it basically is thermal. It shows heat detection on whatever you're looking at. So if you're looking at an enemy, they'll pop up all orange and red and stuff like that because they have heat. You know what I mean? It's really nice to use on snipers because it just makes it a lot easier, I feel. I really like it on snipers. And finally, ELO, which is my favorite optic sight for like assault rifles, SMGs. If you really don't like the iron sights in a gun, just throw on an ELO and try it out, because often ELO is basically an iron sights, but it has floating, like a floating little dot in the middle, and it just makes it really easy to use. Alright, next thing I want to talk about, guys, is your sensitivity. So you have to find what works for you. You have to go through and find out what sensitivity works best for you. I have mine set to 7. You should honestly start from like 4 and work your way up to see what works well for you, and say maybe you're like at 12. That's fine. If it works best for you, if you do best with it, that's what works best with you, and you should use that. Also, next is controller vibration, which I would like you to disable right away, because with controller vibration, it shakes your controller, it can mess up your aim. Even the tiniest bit can make you lose some gunfights, and you don't want that. You want to win those gunfights. So take that controller vibration, turn it off. Alright, next up is button layout. Alright, so if you're on PS4, I would make these flipped, because it makes it your ADS and fire weapon time, or it makes it L1 and R1, which is a lot faster than holding down L2, R2. So just switch that, and makes it a lot easier to aim, makes it a lot better. Alright, and lastly, guys, the last thing I want to talk about to increase your aim at all is control freaks and scuff controllers. So basically what control freaks are is it's a little attachment onto your thumbstick, and that's not that expensive. It's like $10 probably. It goes on the thing of your controller, the stick of your controller, the right stick and the left stick, and it basically just makes it longer, so you have a lot more control. And once you get used to it, it really helps you out so much. It actually does a lot to help you out, because what it does, it makes it a lot longer, so you have a lot more control over where you're looking and aiming and stuff like that. And it just really helps out a lot. You can really see the improvement once you get it and use it a lot. The next thing I'd like to talk about is a scuff controller, which basically you can order with specific size thumbsticks, the L3 and R3 sticks, which basically are these things. You can hear them clicking, I'm guessing. But you can get them customized. I have my own scuff. I just made it all green and stuff because I like green. But you can get it any color you want, basically. You can get it any color. You can get the sticks any size you want. You can get them long. You can get them short. Whatever really works for you. And also what comes with scuff is paddles in the back. So what basically happens is the X button is on the left paddle and the O button is on the right paddle by default. So you can change it to whatever you want. But what they do is basically you'll be able to aim while you're jumping, which basically, you know how X is jumping, you could basically aim and shoot while you're jumping in the air. And that's why you get outgunned so much if you don't have a scuff controller, because people with a scuff controller, they can jump around, fly around while they're shooting at you, and you just can't keep up with them. That's why they win a lot more gunfights. It is a really expensive thing, I must say. Like, it's really expensive, but in the long run, if you are going to be playing a lot, it really is worth it. It's amazing controller, and it's just amazing what they do. I love my scuff controller, and ever since I got it, I do so much better in games. Once I learned how to use it, it was just amazing. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you really liked it, please leave a like. I'm really new to YouTube, and if you guys left a like, it would really mean a lot to me. If you really like me and you want to check out my other stuff, please subscribe. I do post, I try to post almost daily, whenever I can, really. It's just a little hobby of mine. If you guys really do like it, please leave that like. It really helps me out. It really would make my day a lot better. This video is taking a long time to work on stuff. It's going to take even longer to edit. So I'll just say thank you here, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye. Let it go.